Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Lisa Fernandes, and
I am Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
And we're about to review Who's Papa, directed by Maurice Barr-David, story by Zoe Wilson and Al Eidikman. Yeah,
Eidikman. We're still not sure. I haven't looked that up yet.
I was trying to figure out how to properly pronounce his name. I'd like to apologize to him if he's still out there. Teleplay by Al Eidikman as well. This is the first time we've had a story by teleplay by credit for the show. There will be a bunch more, especially when we hit the dreaded season 8. It's an episode from season 4 of Laverne and Shirley, and I bet you Chris has some notes about writers and the director.
I do and I don't. The only person I can really discuss at length is Al Eidikman. He was the writer of Dinner for Four, and so he returns. He has 7 more episodes to go working on the series. Now, he would continue writing up through into 2007 and do quite a bit of producing through the 1980s, including working on It's Your Move, Different Strokes, and the new Leave It to Beaver, which I didn't realize was a thing. Is that part of that whole 50s nostalgia, I guess?
Yeah.
Now, here's the weird thing. Zoe Wilson has no other credits to her name, which makes me incredibly curious. Like, did she give it a shot here and quit? Is it a pseudonym? Or was she horribly murdered behind the scenes and her body is still there underneath the Laverne and Shirley writer's room? I don't know.
God, considering how horrible things were behind the scenes, you never know.
You don't know. Anyway, so it's I don't know. But anyway, that's the case.
Yes.
Then Maurice Barr-David. Who the hell is this guy? He has 2 credits directing, 2 directing credits to his name, being this and then a later episode of Laverne and Shirley, and that's it.
That's interesting.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's like a pseudonym. This could have been Gary stepped in and did it himself. It could be. I did find a Maurice Barr-David who is a person that like I found, because be aware, people, if you have a Facebook, that you might want to make sure your posts are not public, or else people like me can mistakenly think that you're somehow an aging retiree that once directed 2 episodes of a sitcom in 1979. But anyway, I don't know. It's some more sleuthing maybe necessary, and Maurice Barr will come around again, so we'll come back to that. But yeah, that's all I got for now.
Hey, there's still something. Something is better than nothing. And here, speaking of something, it's what this episode is about. A visit by Shirley's tall, handsome, and blonde brother results in a sudden revelation for Miss Feeney. She looks nothing like her siblings or any other family member. Unable to find her birth announcement tucked into the Feeney family album, Shirley is suddenly desperate to learn about her origins, and she and Laverne, after being snuck into the local hospital dressed respectively as a doctor and his pregnant patient, much tomfoolery ensues. Shirley receives a birth certificate after several trials, and then she must confront the notion. Was she adopted? Elsewhere, the boys steal Laverne's gum, and Squiggy is traumatized by the notion that he and Shirley might be biologically related. What do you think of this episode?
Well, one thing I will say is Ed Begley, that's a great performance there. What a guy. Oh man, that was delightful. First thing right out the gate is he honestly outacts kind of almost everybody who's been on, at least every guest actor for practically every episode so far.
Yeah.
But at least for me, it's I know acting is definitely a matter of perception. But no, I really enjoyed this episode, and it's interesting that an episode this important has such a mysterious behind the scenes quality to it.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I love the tone of this episode. I love the strength of the girls' friendship. Ed Begley Jr. really does knock this one out of the park. We will see him again in season 5. Bobby does return. It's with an interesting message episode. So it's a VSE, very special episode. Gotta hold out for that. The boys add just a soup con of ridiculousness. The whole plot where Squiggy's absolutely convinced that Shirley is his sister, that's funny. The part where they're repeatedly stealing Laverne's gum, That, I have no idea how they're getting away with it without her punching them both in the liver, because she would.
She would. Yeah. Oh
She
yeah.
would kill them.
You
They would
never
die.
you never get between a 50s kid and bubblegum. Ever.
She worships Bazooka Joe. She's gonna kill them both.
Yep. I mean, at some point, she's just actually going to get the money for a vicious dog. She's going to get a little Fritzy in there, and then it's going to be quite a deterrent. I do absolutely adore Lenny, though, realizing you could just open up the top of the locker and stick your hand down there.
Yep.
That was so cute.
Yep. And then he still thinks there's a dog in there.
Yep.
Good boy. Those little gunman for him.
At least he's a polite thief.
Yeah, he is.
Is this also okay? We've heard that Squiggy went to reform school before, right? This isn't the first time.
Yes, we've heard that at least once.
Yeah,
it's a very him detail. Of course, he went to reform school. He's Squiggy. Out of all the characters, yeah, that makes sense. I love that he's patiently picking this giant lock, just so determined to get that gummy goodness. And it's like, boys, you need to walk up the street and get it really, really cheap. How flat broke are they at that moment?
Like anybody, it's practically, they're so in debt that if they find a penny on the street, it's like they walk towards in the street, just sucks it up and goes, okay, your debts are finally paid. It almost paid there, Mr. Squigman and Mr. Kozlowski.
almost, but not quite. Almost, but not quite.
Hey, that's the interest rates with asphalt much higher than you'd think.
True. As you look in the rearview mirror and see both Bully Show and playing the Roxy, the whole way at the beginning of the season, boys.
Yeah.
Sheesh. The opening scene is unimportant. It really doesn't need to be there, but it's really cute because Laverne's just trying to protect her goods. She doesn't really care that Bobby's coming. It's not like it's Elvis. And Shirley's steaming the car windows all by herself.
Mm-hmm. I still find it amusing, that line. It's like, it ain't like Elvis is coming. It's like, he's a sailor, Laverne. You'll be squishy in half a second. Come on now.
Yeah, and she does become very quickly quite squishy for Bobby.
Yes. For anyone wondering what the hell we're talking about, that is a Mystery Science Theater 3000 reference to a particular short that has to do with electricity, I think. It's electrical.
No, I thought it had to do with etiquette's Young Man's Fancy, right?
Young Man's Fancy, yeah. Because I know there was the electronic, there was the electric razor and the electric stove.
Yeah.
I mean,
It might be a GE short. I think it might be a GE short. I'm gonna look that up later.
Yeah, but anyway,
that's about prepping for
sister,
a dude.
Yeah, it's code. It is code, but yeah. I mean, it's code, and it's also just very explicit. Anyway, yes, but no, Laverne. It's Laverne. It's a sailor. Come on, you totally are into this.
Yeah. And she quickly does become very into it.
Yep.
There is so much cross-dressing Shirley in this episode.
Yes.
It's fascinating. It's almost to the point where it's kind of... She has so much fun stepping into the role of a doctor after, trying to chase them for years and years and years. Now she gets to play one. And she's eating up every single moment of it. And then we hear that she should be dressed exactly like Bobby, because they were, once again, to use that term, Irish twins. And they were born like 18 months apart, he said? I think he says 18 months apart.
14 months. 14 months.
14 months apart. 14 months, that's even closer. So the mom dressed them identically and put Shirley in sports coats and suits, which is an interesting twist for someone who's incredibly girly, I think. And
God, it's one of those, it feels like a glimpse inside Lily's brain.
Yes.
And it's almost troubling.
Yeah. Yeah. That she wants them both to look like boys, even though she eventually grooms Shirley into being the most girly girl possible to get her the heck out of Sailorton, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
In a way? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Lily, you screwed that girl up on so many levels.
Indeed.
So many levels! Oh,
yep.
Lord.
Oh, poor Shirley.
Okay.
Give Shirley a hug, 2020.
Yes.
Wait, sorry, 2021 when this episode's airing. Just ignore that.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Nothing.
No. Of course, Shirley has so many little Feeney family gestures and salutes. The Feeney family hello and goodbye.
Yep. Ayo, Feeney.
Feeney bio. It's so cute. It's cute. The way she and Bobby greet each other by play punching each other. What a guy, what a guy, what a guy, what a guy. What a guy.
Yep. Oh, and doesn't Laverne take that too seriously and ends up hitting too hard?
Yes. He tries to punch them and she feels left out. So left out.
Yep. And immediately Frank is not having it that Bobby's going to stay there the night.
Yep. Where's little Bobby?
It's me, Mr. DeFazio. It's only for 2 days and 2 nights. Nope, that's it. It's not happening.
Once again, instantly squishy Laverne. Instantly squishy.
I mean, she is like, her hands are like moving up Main Street there towards them cheeks of his. And those blonde locks.
Yeah. Boy, did you grow up good. Too good!
I love that.
Frank has horrifying visions of her debauching this guy right on the cot, right in the middle of the living room. So
God, I would hope that at the very least she'd get the pillows off the couch and just do it on the floor, do it on the couch. I don't know.
There's a cot right there. It's just the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's small and it's I don't know. I'm not a cot fan. I'm not a fan of cots. Just have standards, people. Standards.
Yeah, standards. We have higher standards than Laverne, as wildly demonstrated by that biker episode.
That's a good point. Okay.
Do not date Jake the Snake. Do not go to robberies.
But yeah, okay, and so anyway, but back on track to the episode. The whole, interesting pointing out the maybe you were adopted thing, the looking different from the rest of the family. Because I know we talked about this, and I don't know if talking too deeply about it, the whole conceit as we're kind of recapping the episode is getting ahead of ourselves. But God, there are some families that you get a weird mix of genes and not everybody looks the same, Yeah.
And that's something that Shirley doesn't realize. She doesn't seem to get that, maybe I'm going to look like my Aunt Frida. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm going to look like my great cousin Alganor.
Right.
I look like a combination of my mother and my grandmother on my father's side.
Wow.
I don't look like absolutely anybody directly. I look half like my mother, but half like somebody else. So in other words, you can throw all kinds of genes into this big vat that ends up becoming a human being, and it's not necessary that you're going to look like everybody else in the family line. And since Shirley is biologically a Feeney, that is proven. And then the show does the way the show treats adoption is really beautiful. That it does not matter. It is beautiful. It's gorgeous. Beautifully done.
Yeah, and it's delivered, well, when we get there. But yeah, it's exactly. So it's just interesting though that because Shirley has this perspective, of things have to be in a certain way. I think her loving the album and squealing, the tome of Feeney, it's again all squealy, squeaky, shimmy Shirley. She can't take something rocking her worldview that much. And it's kind of sad. I do understand it. I'm very sympathetic to it. And it even comes back to, especially I like how Bobby sort of reacts is like, I'm your brother. I love you. Whether you're related to me by blood or not, you are always going to be family to me. He never outright says it, but man, he says it a lot in like just the little gestures.
Yeah. To him, it matters not. It doesn't matter to anybody in the entire situation that Shirley might not be a Feeney except for Squiggy, because he has had dirty fantasies about her, and she might be his biological sister.
Right.
and Lenny, who's grossed out by the very end.
Oh, God. Suddenly it just dives right into odd soap opera anime.
But they handle it so broadly and with such humor, so you gotta give them credit for that much.
Oh, yeah. No, they do. No, they do. They do. Oh, yeah. I honestly found it really, really hilarious. I have my notes here. The unclean. and even when it's like Lenny, he goes over, and then even Lenny shouts at him for unclean.
Yeah. Oh, Robert. Oh, Shirley. Oh, Lenny. Unclean.
Yep. And that is also a really sad Squigman story. The baby sister possibly was traded in for a Pontiac.
A Pontiac. Yeah. Yeah. Which is absolutely something that I can picture Helmet doing.
Oh.
When we meet Helmet in season 7, you'll probably agree with me.
Oh God. Speaking of the boys here, when they come in, they're all distracting, and they got the writer's cramp of the brain.
Yeah, I love that line.
But yeah, the whole 26 words, they got to make it 25. And them with their girls and everything. It almost feels like in some respects that's what they wanted was with the opening scene was to kind of establish the boys before they come in for this joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
They honestly like I said, the first scene could have been completely excised. You could just introduce the boys doing this.
Right.
But the idea of them desperately trying to think of a way to cut out a word so they can emphasize how really, 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 etc. stacked this girl is so dumb.
Really, 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 yeah. And I love the get out of here reaction. Stacked. You don't understand, Laverne. This girl is really, 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 really. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, who died and made her breakfast?
Yeah, I made her breakfast. That's great. This is for Milwaukee residents only. Tough luck, shorty.
Oh, God. Also, Lenny, wow, what a faux pas. Whoa, even we got parents.
I know, Jesus. She's depressed enough without being related to you. Laverne Killer's comeback. Squiggy is perfect, too. He's kind of, that's vicious even for him. He's was never that vicious. That's like extremely vicious, just blurting that stuff out. But then the sister that he had in the first episode disappears. He talks about always wanting a sister. You had a sister in the High Neighbor. Hello, Lenny. Hello, continuity. Nice job maintaining the book, y'all. It's like, oh, God.
God, do you think it makes me wonder, did even Michael forget at this point?
He wrote the character's history. There's multiple examples that we've been sharing on Twitter that our friend of pod, Squiggy, has been scanning, that they created this whole history for the character and for his mother and his sister, which has always existed. Michael does have an older sister. I don't know if that influences anything. So, well, it's not like anything really bad is heard about Lenny's sister. We just know that she's a little bit older than him. She's married. He's lived with her for a while. Squiggy pushed her into a hole at one point.
Huh.
Just shoved her into a hole.
Now I'm just suddenly getting the Village flashbacks.
Yeah, but she completely disappears. She completely disappears in this episode just for lines. Surprised that he actually let them get away with that. He didn't fight them on that. Considering how much they fought them on.
It disappeared, just like M. Night Shyamalan's credibility after The Village. Anyway.
That, Avatar, etc.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, good point. Yeah, Last Airbender was where it really disappeared. I actually like The Village, but anyway, moving on.
I like The Village up to a certain point, I think I mostly like it just because Bryce Dallas Howard's performance and everything else is just...
Yeah. Anywho, also, because we did that Lenny and Squiggy said, and I can't believe I didn't get this one because we had already watched this episode by that point. Shirl, will you take off your clothes?
We should add that. We haven't made the video at this point. As of this recording, it's probably going to be out. By the time
long since
hear this.
We'll probably have done like 4 of those by the time this episode comes out.
Yep.
Oh, dude, we should do one for Edna.
Oh God, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, that'll be next.
Yeah, we got to do one.
Then the girls.
Yeah. Anyway, but
I love
the whole clothes taken off though as a lead up to the whole the birthmark thing, which is an interesting aspect of. They never get an answer about this big red blotch that looks like Abraham Lincoln, because we've seen quite a bit of Shirl's skin, but you never know. It might be on her butt.
True. Laverne's got a birthmark that's in a horrible place that we don't know where it is.
Yeah. Or was it a birthmark or was it a freckle?
It was a freckle. Yes. It's a freckle. It's a freckle. Freckle, where. It turned up in a much worse place. God only knows where it turned up.
Yeah, Lord
There's
only
so
knows.
many places. That's a mysterious. I love the hello gag in this episode.
Oh yeah, where
There's
was
a
that?
lot worse. There's a lot worse things in life other than being adopted. Hello.
Oh God, it's so good. It's so good.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I love Bobby through this whole scene. The way Bobby interacts with the boys, it
yeah.
feels like he did enough research, or at least thought about it enough to realize, okay, I probably knew these guys growing up with them.
Yeah.
You know, I was the older kid. I probably watched out for my sister. Like his whole body language, even his line delivery when it's where's my line here? Yeah, it's I think it's around the time, you know, it's this big red splotch that looks like Abraham Lincoln, and he even points and shouts, "Out!"
Yeah.
It's even he's on the United Front. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. You can picture that they've known each other for centuries. Ed Begley Jr. has, I think he's friends with Michael and David. I know they were kind of acquaintances. Michael's wife, Annette, used to hang out with his circle. And they would know each other at a distance because Michael was married to somebody else at the time, and she was married to somebody else at the time. And they knew each other at a distance through Ed Begley Jr. for a long time. And
Nice.
then years later, they ended up together. So that's what I tend to think of when I think of him in the show. Is how, kind of little fate strings, how things work out.
Indeed. Yeah, I still love that. You know, we're mentioning Ed Begley Jr. a bunch here. By the way, Ed Begley Jr., Ed Begley Jr., Ed Begley Jr. We're not mentioning his credits because honestly, he is like that guy.
Yeah.
328 credits on IMDb.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Just.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you got to have seen him in something because he's.
I was gonna mention. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I was kind of done. I was trailing off.
I was going to mention that our viewers might know him from Transylvania 65000. He's in that.
Ooh.
Our viewers might know him from St. Elsewhere, which is what gave him his big break in a lot of ways. Those might be two roles that would make people go, and have a light bulb moment. He's since become a big environmental activist, which is probably what people of my generation know him best for. But yeah, that's what he's going on to do.
Cool.
He still acts. So I was going to say, I love the girls' dresses in this scene. Their dresses are so cute. That's Shirley's traditional formal occasion dress. That dress was replicated for the Madame Alexander doll that they got put out in tribute to the show. And I can tell you that because it's sitting 2 inches from me. I'm looking right at her.
Hey, nice.
And Cindy wears that dress in a lot of the show's promotional material. So if that dress looks familiar when you're watching this scene, that's why.
Got it. Yeah, I was pretty zonked out when we reviewed this batch of episodes, so I wasn't able to focus. Yeah, it was a long week. It's been a long couple months. Anyway,
for everybody. I was gonna mention Laverne is so done with the Feeney family album. She's so done with that album.
Yes.
I love this album! You don't ever leave these people!
Yeah, it's no, not the album again. Yeah. I mean, I love even Bobby's reaction. Like he's been through this. He probably went through this in childhood. And it would be it's like she would, oh God, can you imagine when family would come and visit? Like and that probably happened every time. And he just, God.
I'm gonna be in my room now.
Yeah. If he was allowed to, I can see Lily or Jack, it's like, nope, you're going to be, actually, no, it would be Lily by this point.
Yeah,
on her own, basically it's like, no, you're going to stay in here with your aunt, Yep.
You're going to look at these pictures.
Yep.
Look at them.
But Mom, Shirley's going to do the thing again.
Do the thing. She's going to make the sound. The squeak.
Isn't that a lovely sound? Oh, man. Anyway, so that moves us into the kind of where the core of the episode ends up taking place, where the hospital.
Yep.
And to start off, her part is small. The reception nurse is Devera Marcus. She will reappear later in The Gymnast. In the episode The Gymnast later on in the series. Sorry, I wrote this down a very not clear way to read aloud. Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to get like too deep on this topic, but I'm kind of curious. What is your take on this? And this is a fact: is adopted people not being allowed to look at their records. What's your thought on that?
In a way, it makes sense because it protects the birth parents in case they seal it. You have to seal the adoption for them not being able to look at the records, if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly. If it's unsealed, then obviously they can access it. But if it's sealed, then your birth parents don't want you to know. Or they don't want contact.
Right.
Perhaps it's a Pandora's box best not poked. But, you have to sympathize with Shirley and anybody who would be in Shirley's position here.
Yeah.
All she wants to know is the truth. She just wants
It's
to know
another one of those. It's not my story to tell, but I do know someone that has happened to, and they have tried for decades to get some type of access to figure out the history, just to know, and yeah, they never were able to get that taken care of. And just kind of interesting because, things have sort of changed. I think perspectives about adoption or giving up for adoption have sort of changed because I even know a couple of folks that this person I know, they gave up their child. They gave up. It was a case of two cases that they had to give up. One was because the circumstances was with an abusive partner. The second was a case of they and the partner that they were with at the time could not, raise the child, and they did but the couple that when they were with the person that was able to handle that, okay, we're going to make this decision as that this is what's going to happen. They have tried to stay involved as much as possible in the child's life as the kid is growing up. And so it is just, that's why I pose it as a question, because I'm not 100%. I agree with what you're saying. I see it from both perspectives. I understand the lack of contact because there are circumstances, not even just necessarily embarrassment. There could be other issues, sort of like you maybe come from a situation or a background that you think to yourself, they shouldn't know, because it may affect it may affect their life journey, and I want them to have a better life.
Yeah.
Which this episode even covers at the end too, which I thought was interesting.
Exactly. That speech is beautiful. That's a gorgeous speech. I really love it.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's but at the same time, I definitely, God, I feel for Shirley. Although Shirley's line when she says to the receptionist, or the doctor in this point, she says the term superior breeding.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? Because that made me deathly uncomfortable. My comment is, Shirley, no.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
Shirley, no.
Yeah, I cringed at that. I think it meant a different thing in the 70s than what it may mean now, because yikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes on bikes. Ha, 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 ha.
Yikes on bikes, oh dear. Speaking of yikes on bikes and comedic shenanigans, disguises.
Yes.
They're a thing that occur in this episode. And it is It is delightful.
Yes, it is. It's so cute. I love it. I love that Shirley decides to make up this big dramatic story for Laverne's quote-unquote pregnancy. Of course she would. Of course
he said he was going to come back.
Yeah, he said he'd come back. And then one of the women in the ward asks the doctor, Dr. Shirley, quote-unquote, when the stork is coming. There's a smart one. Laverne's commentary is really great.
Don't worry, ma'am. We'll be checking that Cabbage Patch soon enough.
Yeah, it's just such a Shirley line. It's a beautiful Shirley line.
Yeah.
I love friendly Nurse Rusty, the doctor's pal.
Yeah. Nurse Krevsky? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, man. And Shirley's almost kind of into it. Almost.
Yeah. She's kind of almost there for it.
Yeah. I know. I love Laverne is pushing her, trying to get her to go on with it. It's like Laverne is waiting for the surprise. She's waiting for the surprise.
Yeah. I'm gonna die. She kissed you right there. I'm gonna die.
Yeah. And I love Shirley's like, I'm not the kind of girl. Guy, doctor.
Yes.
God.
That is a great line. That is a perfect line. She is so great and so determined in this episode. It is fabulous.
Absolutely. And Nurse Krevsky, by the way, was played by Lindsay Bloom, who was a regular on Dukes of Hazzard in Dallas, and then ended up as Velda in the new Mike Hammer series in the 1980s. So, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, and she absolutely destroys this part. I mean,
Yeah.
the sort of bimbo, promiscuous nurse is it's a cliche, and my God, the doctors in Love use it a lot.
Yeah.
But this was a hilarious case of it because there's something kind of sweetly genuine about it. It takes something that should be smutty and dirty, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cute. So
it's because she's having so much fun with it.
I think so.
It's because there's nothing dirty about it. She's just willing to have fun with him.
Yeah.
She's just willing to have a good time with him.
Yeah.
And it's not like she's like doing it to get ahead or she doesn't want to do it or like in freaking Angels of Mercy, she's being ethered. She's fun and friendly. She's a single girl. She's out there having fun. She probably knows how to take precautions. And
9 out of 10 doctors recommend her.
She knows how to take precautions. It's 1960, We're pre a lot of things, so she can have all the fun she wants. Why the heck not?
Yeah.
Why the heck not? She probably is banging married doctors, though. So
yeah, that's the one.
Every little cloud, every little rainbow cloud.
Yeah. Anywho, and then that leads us into as the nurse, waves goodbye. I love the wave, by the way. That's amazing.
Same.
Go into a very Marx Brothers-y physical comedy bit with the door.
Yes. I hope it's a boy. And then Shirley just goes into this pure improv. Again, her acting for an audience that doesn't care is always hilarious to me. She's just speechifying and creating this huge story that doesn't need to exist.
Exactly, yeah. Some
new
method. Yeah, it's like some new method of inducing labor in National Geographic magazine or something.
Yep. And then Laverne gets stuck. And then she can't pry her out no matter what she does. She cannot push her forward no matter what she does. And then in comes the supervising doctor. Mm-hmm. Laverne gives birth to a bouncing baby beach ball.
And then, I love the dissolve or the cut to Laverne still bouncing it.
Yeah, doing all kinds of bouncing tricks and counting tricks with it. Which is purely athletic Laverne and also a lot of fun. It's just a fun little visual gag that I adore. Laverne's speech to Shirley is so good.
Yeah.
It's so beautifully handled. And the supervising doctor and what he says is so good and so well handled.
Yep. And do you know who the supervising doctor is?
I do not.
That's Rance Howard.
Oh, no way!
Yep.
Yeah! Wow.
So for those out there that do not know, that is Ron and Clint's father and grandfather to Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yep.
He was a character actor who passed away sadly in 2017, but he had a long, prolific career spanning 284 projects, including Nebraska by Alexander Payne, Gary Marshall's Valentine's Day, of course, Tim Burton's Ed Wood, and many of his son's films, including Apollo 13 and Cocoon.
Yeah.
So in some respects, I think, given that Cindy, had worked with Ron now multiple times by this point, Rance getting to deliver the speech at the end, there's something kind of weighty and beautiful about that, I think, to me.
Yeah. Everything about it is beautiful. Everything about that scene is beautiful. He acts it beautifully. It's perfect. It's another perfect scene. And it just sings. It definitely sings.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to point out there's that, like you were saying about the perfection, like one of my, I think kind of the shining moment for me, even though, there's all these just great moments, but the one that stands out, Laverne doing the callback, it probably was real hard on her too after she saw them dimples of yours, and she waits for Shirley to get the smile. There they are, and she points them out, and that beat is handled so well.
Right in the heart. I love this friendship so much. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's so beautifully handled, and how much they care about one another, and how much Laverne loves her best friend.
Yep.
It's right in the heart, directly in the heart.
And then Laverne, it turns out, lost money on it.
Yeah, I know. $20 says she had a bet with Squiggy. No, with Lenny. She had a bet with Lenny.
Yeah, it would have been Lenny. Lenny would be taking bets. Squiggy's already wants to believe it.
Yeah, Squiggy's catatonic by the time we next see him. So he's not joking about this. Lenny probably would though. Mm-hmm. The two of them are thick as thieves in this episode. For some reason, they sit unnecessarily close together on that cot. There's no reason for them to be that close together on that cot.
What do you mean
need
unnecessary?
a
That's not. That's totally necessary. What are you talking about? We got to get these two together. Come on, show. Get with the program.
Wake up, Gary Marshall.
Okay, before we leave the hospital, though, I love Nurse Krevsky showing up one last time. Because first Shirley's yelling at Laverne, and you can you can bet on this. How could you bet on this? And then it turns hello.
Hello.
And it's like, yeah, Shirley's kind of into it.
Yeah, she's kind of going. You can almost see her dating this nurse.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, almost
just going for it. Just going for it.
It's in an alternate universe, it would happen.
Yeah. Well, her mother always did tell her that she was going to get in trouble if she played doctor. So.
Oh God. Oh, this episode's so good.
Lesson learn music and feels, and it's like unjustly ignored. I think in a lot of ways, it's very good. It's very good. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. And dang, Laverne can get it. 2,000 sailors.
And getting her face painted on the side of a ship. And that's only kissing. Something happens in season 8, and I won't reveal it, that is so much worse than this. But this is charming and innocent. She kisses all those sailors and ends up with puffy lips. But we won't go there yet, but the horror is waiting for us in season 8.
Oh, God. I mean, I know we're recording this during the spooky season, but oh, goodness gracious. Okay. But yeah, I was happy for Laverne. She was exhausted, but I was happy for her.
And puffy lipped, but happy.
Yes.
In come the boys with poor catatonic Squiggy.
Yeah. I felt kind of sorry for Squiggy. I feel sorry for Shirley and Squiggy both, in this episode, because Shirley, it made a lot of sense that she would believe this possibility because she felt so unloved and abandoned in childhood.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I mean, I can't imagine, how could she feel like her family always wanted her,
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And in the case of Squiggy, it's like if he was able to gain Shirley as a sister, then maybe he'd finally have a family member that liked him or put up with him or helped him somehow. Because even his Uncle Elliot is not great,
Yeah.
We've established that Uncle Elliot is a bit of a thief and a scoundrel, and that whole thing of him going to London. What do you figure that was probably some weird diamond smuggling operation?
I can picture it. Oh, I can picture it. I can picture that. Yeah. Considering how bereft they are of family in their own ways, you can absolutely picture. Now, of course, he'd be thrilled to have her as a sister.
Yep.
He would want that. He would want her in his life that way. Yeah.
It would not be a mutual feeling, but there would be feelings.
Yep. And here comes Lenny going, no, you and Shirley can get married. Squiggy has never declared that he wanted to marry Shirley until this episode. Because he's always been in denial about it, always tried to avoid it. He's the big swinger, where Lenny's just the aspiring big swinger. But I love how Lenny is so, in a way, into marriage, or he thinks that marriage is an ideal state for certain people. He's sitting there kind of pairing his friends up. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Now
It's oh God, now I can just imagine if that gets a Flanderized version and a remake where he makes little dolls of all the people in the building, and it's like, and now you two kiss.
No. In the remake, the way you handle this in a remake is he's a wedding planner. That's
oh my God.
So simple. There you go.
Don't you think you should have like a more masculine profession? And it's like, what are you talking about? Getting people together, but you're making connections.
Yeah.
And my daddy always told me I should stay connected.
So I get more trim than a lampshade.
Oh boy. Anyway, and then of course that final zinger freeze frame.
The children won't be morons, but well, they should still worry. Jeesh.
Yep.
Jeez.
Zing.
Zing, but don't freeze frame. Freeze frame. Yeah, that's the episode. Yeah,
that's the episode. That's kind of all I got to say on it.
Same.
It was really good though.
Yes. As we slide into L ratings land, would you like to go first?
I probably should.
Yes.
I'm honestly gonna rank this kind of high. I'm gonna give this like an 8.5.
Yeah, it deserves it.
Yeah, The little bits of physical comedy are amazing. Very as I mentioned, very Marx Brothers-y. I feels like every cast member that shows up is used well. The guest characters integrate rather seamlessly. I mean, I'm still in absolute shock that this has to be a pseudonym situation. That we have a story writer who never did anything else in their career, in their life, writing wise, so it has to be a pseudonym for either somebody else in the writing staff or somebody else who was from a different show, and a director who again only did 2 episodes of this series and did no other television, no other directing that we know of. Now it could be it was a theater director, or like maybe like an acting teacher that was working with some of the people that worked on the show, and they just came in to do this as a favor. But if that's the case, I mean, it's just amazing to see the strange like synergy that comes out, like the weird lightning in a bottle. And so this episode's kind of forgotten, you were saying?
Yeah, it's not mentioned often as a memorable episode for people. If they remember for anything, it's because of Ed Begley Jr.'s presence. It's not like up in the high echelon of episodes that people adore, like Dinner for Four, Stepping Out, or Look Before You Leap, or High Neighbor Book 2, or Lenny's Crush, or The Diner, or Murder on the Moose Jaw Express. It doesn't get mentioned a lot, and that's a shame because this is a good one.
This is a damn good one. This is a damn good episode. Yeah. I loved it. You know, it's on the kind of lower level of love just because there's a couple of repetitious jokes here and there, and you know, I would have liked to see a little. It's not as disjointed as some of the others we've had, you know, in the last 2 years, but it definitely could have used some tightening up. It's not like a Deborah Lesh and Declan joint where it's nice and tight, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a really freaking good episode, and Begley, I can't wait to see him again.
Yeah.
And I would not mind Rance Howard showing up again as well. This was really good.
Either. Well, you will indeed get to see Ed Begley Jr. one more time on the show, so he's coming back.
Cool.
This one is like an 8.5 for me. It's close to a 9, very close to a 9. The way the show speaks out about adoption and how it's important, and about how love is, you know, love is love. You know, you do not need to have a biological connection to someone to love them that much. I love how the boys are sprinkled in. Though there could have honestly been a little bit more of them. I kind of wanted traumatized Squiggy weaving in and out of the plot line, just floating there. Going, oh god! I thought all the things that I did with you, I did with my sister. Which is he's just so freaked out for a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
Yeah, there were probably oh god, and he's such a perv. I mean, how many like peeping Tom moments is he now reflecting on?
Yep. Okay, he's looked down her dress at this point. He's kissed her multiple times. He's had implied many dirty fantasies about her. He thinks she wants to marry him, even though he doesn't want to marry her. Allegedly, though Lenny proves that.
Yeah, I think Lenny was able to cut through the BS that Squiggy's just projecting when it comes to that entry in his black book.
Yep. No, you're surely gonna get married. It's such a great line. I adore Ed Begley Jr. in this episode. His role is well handled. Everything the girls do in regard to the entire situation fits. It manages to blend sentiment with physical comedy pretty well. I like this one. I like it a lot, so it's a solid experience.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a darn good episode. Anyway, well, with that all in mind, thank you again, everyone, so much for joining us for Night After Night podcast. And if you would like to know more, please join us at Night After Night Pod on Facebook, WordPress, Tumblr, Patreon, YouTube, or you can find us on Night After Night PC on Twitter, so that you can chat with us a bit more about the show and what your thoughts are on this, and thoughts about the subject matter, and Ed Begley Jr. movie recommendations, and I don't know, just tell us how your day's going. How you doing? You doing okay? Is everything all right? You know, and if maybe you got yourselves a talent, you know, maybe something you want to show off or something like that. Because I hear, I think next week we're going to be covering some sort of talent show. I think.
It's Shots Talent Showtime again, kids. The boys end up being put in charge of the production. Things go haywire. The girls find themselves dangling at the end of guide wires and at the boys' mercy. That's the 3rd annual Shots Talent Show.
Oh, boy. Well, so long as there's no ventriloquism acts, I think we'll be okay. Oh, no, that's not a comforting laugh. All right, well, I'm going to go hunker in for some devil doll action, and you all have yourselves a great and wonderful day. Thank you.
And if you're given the chance, kids, don't watch magic. You don't want Aunt Margaret to come for you in your sleep. Or that puppet. The puppet completely mimed and trying to bite your face off and stab you.